Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto Was an Immortal, half Otsutsuki. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the rest of the What Ifs over the other channels. I post a brand new crossover on Anime King, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy. I also post a brand new movie over on Anime Prince, so go ahead, check out that and enjoy as well guys. And remember, for new Yes I Indeed 4 channels, links will be down in the description, so go ahead, check them out and yeah, enjoy guys. So without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode begin now guys? So the last time we left off, Naruto, Jiraiya and Orochimaru were inside of the same arena. As they were fighting, it was just supposed to be a test. Jiraiya and Orochimaru wanted answers if they won. Their goal was to get one hit on Naruto, but so far it seems impossible. Even the Toads were against this, because unlike Orochimaru and Jiraiya, they knew who Naruto was. Well, to be more precise, they knew exactly what he was. And that is why they told Jiraiya not to do this. So with that, the battle began. Said battle was ferocious as both Orochimaru and Jiraiya attacked with everything they got. They tried to group up as a team. However, it didn't matter what they did. It didn't matter how hard they swing or how hard they fought. They could not lay a finger on him. Pulling out some of their best moves. Sage mode for Jiraiya. Orochimaru fighting in sync with him. Still, it did not matter, as Naruto figured that it was about time that he ended this. So with that, the both of them came at him once again, as Naruto dissembled Jiraiya with just a few hits. Despite his skin being reinforced in Sage mode, Naruto was able to knock him down. Orochimaru was next as Naruto pulverized him. The whole thing was over, and they did not even land one hit on him. It allowed Jiraiya and Kagami to see the full might of who exactly this man in front of them was, as Hiruzen was afraid now, seeing the power that was guarding the Uzumakis. It was a good thing that their name was not in anything. So with that, Hiruzen, Jiraiya and Orochimaru headed back towards the Hidden Leaf. Naruto had Kushina sign the Toad contract. Hiruzen was thinking more deeply on that, as he wondered if he did that so Konoha will always have to be allies of the Uzumakis. As Hiruzen wondered if he actually knew, Orochimaru has kept his mouth shut upon the things that Naruto had said to him, and Naruto warned him not to go down that path or he will be forced to end his life. However, Naruto saying that he met him before was concerning to the Snake Sanin, because he has never met this man before. Was someone tampering with his mind or something, he wondered. Some time later we escaped back to Uzu, as Kushina was trying to convince her mother and father to let her be trained by Naruto. Naruto was going after something and he was going to be leaving for some time now, as she wanted to go with him. Her mother seemed to be in support of this. Kushina was being trained to be the next clan head. However, if she was to be trained by Naruto, the skills and knowledge that she would gain from this will help her protect the clan, as she wanted to explore as well. After a while, Kagami agreed to this, as he spoke to Naruto afterwards, as Naruto revealed some more things about himself, including that he knew of his, grandfather, and things that Kagami himself did not know. He was afraid that whatever was stolen was going to be a direct effect on this world, as Naruto told him that it was, but he was going to stop it, as he would not let anything befall on this world. He promised that. So with that, the Uzumakis had a final feast. Yes, a large one to thank their savior for all that he did for them, as Naruto was thankful to all of them, the kindness that they showed. As he spoke to the members there before he had left out the next morning, Kushina saying goodbye to her younger sister and mother, and her father as well. And with that they head on their journey. Black Zetsu, who was afraid that Naruto might come for him and find him soon, trying his best to hide the Gedo statue, was running out of options. He had to cause chaos, and he couldn't just cause any normal chaos. He needed to cause chaos that would shake the world for Naruto to get involved so that he could get more time to hide and plot. So with that, Black Zetsu went towards the demon country, near towards the land of swamps where a demon reside, Moryu. Everyone thought that he was some mythical demon from hell, but Moryu was in fact a piece of the Jubi, a piece that had survived and absorbed several other dark pieces through the ages and gained strength. Naruto was the one that had defeated him and locked him away, as he had blessed the priestess there with his power of the sealing arts, in order to seal the beast away ever if it reared its head. Throughout history, the priestess passed their power down to their children, as they became the next sealer of the arts, to be able to seal and trap Moryu. Everything was going so fine. The current priestess felt it as the entire island shook. She and her guards quickly made their way there. Black Zetsu had used several people. However, once he was done with them, he allowed Moryu to connect to their chakra. Upon doing that, the chakra that was connected to the outside world, allowed Moryu to gain a foot in this world, as Zetsu was able to break the seal by using that. Zetsu told Moryu about Naruto. The demon already had a great hatred for him because of it being, well, a part of the Ten Tails. So now it wanted to eradicate him, rip him apart. It wanted to annihilate him. It started to gain its strength back, and even more powerful as it was feeding off the darkness of the human realm, the fear. This thing had grown over the centuries and was extremely powerful. You could basically call it a tail beast. That is why Naruto had to lock it away. However, Naruto arrived on the scene. The current priestess was shocked when she saw him. Her mother had told her about this man, but she never met him herself, as she couldn't believe it. As Naruto told her to get to safety, he told the guards to get her and Kushina to safety. Kushina was worried. However, Naruto told her that everything would be fine. That is when she saw his eyes change as Naruto's eyes switched to the Rinnegan. The creature moved itself over towards Naruto. It had, well, 4 massive legs. It had 3 heads and 2 wings on its back. As it roared, it was glad that Naruto came here himself so that he could rip him apart, so that he could finally get his revenge for being sealed away for so long. As Naruto told him to stand down, this time, things would not end as he thought. Last time he was able to survive because he got sealed away, but this time was different. The creature was confident though that he could annihilate Naruto, released an obscene amount of power shaking the entire valley, as it started to charge 3 beams out of its mouth. That is when Naruto releases godly power of his own, cancelling out the shock as he was able to split the power in half, shocking everyone to the amount of power one man could wield. So yeah guys, basically let's pull it off. You guys can switch across the play, check it for yourself. So what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. Her name was Moroku. She was the current high priestess of the land of demons, and she was amazed. Her mother had told her stories that led back far to her ancestors. A long time ago, their land was ravaged by a demon, a power-hungry demon that can siphon off the hatred in one's heart and completely consume them, leaving them nothing but a broken shell afterwards. These stories always frightened her, until her mother told her about the Savior, a man that was said to be a god amongst men. He walked with an air of authority. He strived like the last defender of the human race. His powers absolute, unbreakable, undefeatable. The stories about that man always delighted her, and now she was witnessing it. She was seeing it with her own eyes. A moment ago, her and her followers were about to be incinerated. She had blamed herself. Yes, she blamed herself greatly. How could she allow something that has been going on for centuries to be undone in her time? She had promised her mother that she would not allow the demon to break free. The tradition, their family was blessed with a powerful gift of the sealing arts. However, over time the seal grew weak, and it was up to them to seal back the demon before it could ever break through in the human world. Waking up this morning was a normal morning until she was alerted by this. She feared what would happen, knowing that she could not possibly stop this monster by herself. But now, this man arrived and was saving them. He was saving them all. All of her guards that came with her were in complete shock. The amount of power just released from that demon was split in half. It destroyed the surrounding area. The land of swamps was once said to be a great, beautiful, luscious forest hill until a war that consumed the land some time ago because of this said demon made sure that there would no longer be any life in this area, and thus it was filled with broken stones, even an inactive volcano where the demon resided. And now the demon was free. As the people start to whisper, is he even human? They could not believe that one such man was able to possess such strength to face that demon and yet make it look easy. As they watch, he sent the demon flying with just a flick of his wrist. They start to mumble about the man and what he was. Moroku turned towards them. All of you, she said, be silent and show some respect. This man here, he's our savior, she said. Glancing over, she saw the young red-headed girl, looking up with awe and delight in her eyes. She stepped towards her. Hello there, she said. Kushina was snapped out of her trance. Oh, hello, she said. My name is Moroku, the High Priestess of the Land of Demon. High Priestess of the Land of Demon? Kushina said, confused. I'm not surprised that you don't know about me. We do not tend to involve ourselves with shinobi affairs. But can you tell me, how did you meet Naruto-sama? Wait, you know him? Kushina said, looking towards Moroku. No, this is the first time I'm meeting him, but my mother told me stories about him. Oh, well, he saved my people and my entire clan. We were here looking for something when we came across this. But there's no need to worry. He will defeat that monster. I'm sure of it. Oh, I am not worried, she said. My mother told me about this man. I have no doubt in my heart that he will win, she said, as she looked up with awe in her eyes. Meanwhile, as Naruto floated over the demon, Moryu has made quite the name for himself. It was a very long time ago when Naruto had first came across him. Moryu was just a spawn of the Ten Tails. After the defeat and the seal of the Ten Tails, a lot of its power had been spread across the elemental nation. Most of it was destroyed and easily taken care of. However, a larger collection of the power had came together and started to gain sentience, the ability to understand by slowly absorbing human negative thoughts. Thus it became a beast of harbinger and death. Slowly but surely it went over the elemental nation, gathering what little power it could of its former self, that being the Jubi. It even gave itself a name, Moryu. It gathered followers. People started to worship it, as it used their dark intention to corrupt their mind. However, it left their body a broken mess afterwards. It had tried to bathe mankind in darkness to completely submerge everything within its, well, clutches. However, many years ago, Naruto came across it and his followers, and immediately wiped them all out. But the beast could not be that easily killed. In fact, because of what it has done over the years, it had grown so exponentially strong. Naruto, at the time, could not kill it, so he had to seal it away. It was on these very grounds that he had fought it, on these very lands that he had fought it, and seal it here. The neighboring land, which was now the land of Demon, the leader there had came to Naruto and thanked him for saving their life. because the beast would have ravaged through their village and incinerate everything. Naruto had blessed them with a portion of his power, the sealing art to trap the demon, allowing them to pass it down through generations, and that is what they did. Naruto did not get involved after that because they did a splendid job. Despite the burden that he placed on their shoulder, the land had always been corrupted because of Moryu. The last time Naruto was here was for the funeral of Maruko's mother. He did not make himself be known. He just came to say goodbye. She was one of the few priestesses in a line of generations that he had spoken to. So she knew about him, she knew about his still continuing existence. And seeing the look in her daughter's eyes, Naruto figured that she also knew about him, but he's never met her before. However, as he looked down below, rocks and stones started to move away, as the thing exploded out of the earth, rising back up to Naruto level. It was massive, towering over Naruto. 3 gigantic dragon heads, 2 front legs and 2 back ones, that seemed to be sharpened with extremely long dangerous claws at the end of them. Its entire body was purple, a sick toxic chakra. No, no, no! He yelled out, rage, spitting from its tone. Its vile toxic chakra seemed to be increasing. This will not end like the last time. I will not be sealed away ever again. As Naruto looked down with an impassive face, Moryu looked towards him and roared to the heavens. Its 3 mouths started together in a sick, toxic beam. As it started to bring the 2 others together in front of the main mouth, they start to form a large ball. However, as Naruto prepared himself, something shot from the earth and grabbed onto his legs. As he realized that it was only a distraction. I told you, I won't be sealed again, Moryu said. Next thing Naruto knew, 2 others shot forward and grabbed both right and left arms of his. Turning to see what it was a strange tentacle. Looking down with his eyes, Naruto realized they were traveling from Moryu's body. Naruto saw with his Rinnegan as the chakra started to dilute the tentacles. The next thing he knew, his body was covered by the purple smudge. As it tried to corrupt him, Moryu laughed as Naruto was yanked out of the sky at blinding speeds. He was thrown right into the side of the broken mountain. His body broke right through it. But Moryu was not done yet as he lifted Naruto up and dropped him. The entire ground exploded. Moryu released the beam that he was charging. As the spectators' eyes went wide, when it made contact with the ground, a violent blast ensued that swallowed the entire area. They were a good enough distance away so they were completely unharmed, but the breeze did slam into them. But they held their grounds. Kushina's eyes went wide. However, she knew that he was alright. She didn't know how, but she knew. Maruko looked towards the young girl as she saw a look of confidence on her face. And after what her mother told her, she did not show any fear, believing that he was just fine. The guards, on the other hand, they were skeptical after witnessing that blast. No one can survive something like that, right? Down below, Naruto was leaning against a gigantic rock that he was situated in. His shirt had been torn off. He had blocked the technique, of course, but it wasn't only chakra that was in that technique. Moryu was no ordinary tail beast after all. And the vile, corrupted nature of the chakra had reduced his shirt to ashes, exposing his chest. Naruto had a slim build, not overly muscular. However, there was a scar in his stomach. A star that seemed to travel like lightning shock, traveling up his stomach but came to a stop right before it reached his chest. It was from where his own mother had shot him with the all-killing ash bone, the only scar that ever marked his body after the procedure Hamura and Hagoromo had done to him that allowed him to survive, something that he should not. He had risked his life to stop his mother from killing Hagoromo, to make sure that she would be sealed, and in the end Hagoromo had tried to save him and Hamura doing something that has never been done before. Therefore, leaving Naruto with his scar and something much worse. but something that he's come to live with. Naruto pulled himself up. The tentacles had released him the moment the blast had slammed right into him. Luckily, his pants were still left. A few tears and holes here and there, but they were fine. As Naruto stepped forward, his white hair blowing in the wind, Morio laughed, seeing Naruto discard his shirt as a victory. "There is more where that came from," he said as he landed, cracking the earth. "This time you're going to lose, and I will achieve my goal. Humanity is rotten down to the core, and I will show them all. I will make them all experience the true darkness within their heart, and you will not be around to stop me. And without you, there is nothing in this entire world that can stop me," he yelled, fluctuating his power as the entire place shook. Naruto started to calmly walk forward as Morio looked towards him. "I told you at the beginning of this won't be like last time. For many years now, I've left these people with a curse that has continued to plague their land. It doesn't matter if you are sealed, the darkness that you possess can never be truly erased. However, the last time we fought, I was inexperienced. I never truly understand the man I am, what I am. But now, I've grown, I've learned, and this time, I will not be sealing you away." "What?" said Morio. "This time I will destroy you," said Naruto. Morio started to laugh, that sick toxic chakra dripping from him. "You think you can destroy me? Well, let's just see about that." Before it could even make another sound, Naruto appeared in front of the center face. His fists are pulled back. Naruto tightened his fists as veins started to pop on his hand. That is when the ear around his arm started to twist. No, it was not the ear. It was space. The amount of power he was bending. Space itself. Morio tried to pull back, but it was too late as Naruto's fists shot forward. An explosion followed. The center head was blown to pieces. One punch as the head was blown completely off. Morio raged as he lashed out with his tentacles. However, Naruto slipped underneath them and reached the base, what you would call a stomach of this monster, as he dropped into a weird stance. His palms started to glow. "Divine hands," he said. With that, he lashed out. Every strike that Naruto hit it with, the force came out of its back, destroying and tearing apart the land. The beast screeched and roared. The final strike, Naruto slammed forward in both of his hands, sent the beast sailing for miles upon miles, crashing through everything that was in its path. It tried to slow itself down with its wings, but it could not. However, before it could crash, Naruto appeared behind it. The gigantic mountain that stood, Naruto appeared, stopping the beast with just his hands. With a flex of his own strength, Naruto gripped into its flesh and lift before dropping it. Its two remaining heads slammed against the earth with a violent shockwave that shook this entire area. Naruto then flies straight up in the heavens before he turned his body upside down and extended his right hand. "Heavenly drop," he said. Upon doing that, his chakra came out and formed a gigantic palm. Morio looked up. Oh no! But he couldn't get the finish. As the palm of chakra made contact, it was like swatting a fly. The entire area shook, causing the people to lose their balance as many of them fell. Once that was done, Naruto stood there as Morio was a mess. Its body, despite being comprised of chakra, was broken, battered, unable to even move. As Naruto moved towards one of the heads, he reached out, as I said. I've let these people suffer for too long with their darkness, and it's time I end it. Naruto gripped onto its head and started to yank on something. What seemed to be chakra started to be ripped out of the beast. It tried to stop him, but Its body was battered, smushed against the ground. Upon pulling out that chakra, Naruto slammed his hand together. A white aura sprang up around him. Said white aura started to release gigantic hands. These hands were not normal. They had claws at the end of them, like a beast. However, they were deep and long. They gripped into Morio's flesh, his chakra being grabbed. Before they start to pull, Morio screamed. "No, you can't do this," he yelled, trying his best to escape. However, one of the hands pinned him down. "You're a beast of destruction. This was a long time coming," said Naruto, his tone as calm as ever. Slowly but surely, the hands ripped it apart. A sick, vile, toxic chakra spread out in the area. It tried to escape, Morio trying to reform himself somewhere else. However, Naruto Rinnegan started to pulse. Before slowly his eyes closed, his forehead then started to open up, revealing the Tensegon that started to glow. Naruto's entire body was shrouded in a blue glow. He held out his hand, as he seemed to be pulling on air itself before he slammed his hand together. All of the thick toxic chakra started to be combined. Slowly but surely, it was sucked right into him. Immediately, Naruto's body started gaining several markings all over it. Several purple lines running through his face and arms, covering him. He coughed as purple smoke came from his mouth. However, the Tensegon pulsed, as the blue chakra around him started to flare even more. The cyan blue color exploded outwards, bathing the entire area in a bright, encompassing light, making everyone shield their eyes. As the light died down, "What just happened?" one of the guards spoke up. No one could answer that. A moment later, they heard something as they turned. As Naruto was standing there, his shirt was still missing. Kushina was the first one to break out of her stupor as she rushed forward. "That was so amazing," she said, a happy, big grin on her face. "The way you handled that monster. I knew it. I knew that you would not lose. I never had a doubt." As Naruto merely smiled at her. Naruto-sama. As Naruto turned his gaze. "Moroku," he said. She blinked in shock. You know of me," she said. "I knew your mother," said Naruto. "She told me about you before you were born." "I'm sorry to hear about her passing," said Naruto. That is when something clicked inside of her head. On the day of her funeral, members said that they saw a man walking through the village that they never saw before. "Was that you?" "Yes. She was a friend of mine. I came to say goodbye." With everything that was going on, I did not feel like it was right to involve myself or to tell you about the consequences of what your mother has passed down towards you. I figure that she told you all of that. For a long time now, your people has kept this demon away and at bay, and I thank you for that. I also apologize for putting this on your people. I know it's been a heavy burden," said Naruto. No, don't apologize. My mother told me that if it wasn't for you, this entire land would not even be a thing. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be standing here today. You're the reason why my people is even alive, and for that, I'm grateful," she said, bowing her head to the man. As he placed a hand on her shoulder and smiled, making her lift her head back up. "But I must ask," she said, "what happened? Did you seal it away once again?" "No. The last time I fought it was a very long time ago. I've learned a lot since then. It is now gone." She blinked in shock. Gone? Forever?" she said. A shocked look all over her face. "Yes," said Naruto. Tears came to her eyes. Her mother had never wanted to pass this down on to her, knowing the burden of what this meant, but it had to be done. She also feared when she was going to have a child in the future. That is why she was still single at this age, but she knew that she had to, in order to make sure that their land was safe. However, the thing was, because of the power that was entrusted upon them because of the seal, In a way, they were connected to Moro. They could feel his emotions, which was nothing but dark and corrupted. Sometimes they could even hear whispers, and it was a daunting task to have. But now her mind was clear, everything was just free. The tears started to run down her cheek. She dropped her knees and bowed her head. "Thank you so much, Naruto-sama," she said, relief in her tone. As Kushina watched all of this, taking in the scene, the guards surprised, as their priestess was bowing to this man. However, after what they've seen him done, and they decided to follow her actions as they all went on one knee, bowing their head as well. Time skip. A couple weeks later, both Kushina and Naruto was on the road as they made their way. A lot has happened in the past couple of weeks. For once, she got to see how amazing Naruto truly was when he faced off against that monster and defeated it. However, after that, they were invited towards the princess palace. Priestess, if she should correct herself. The woman was nice enough, however, Kushina did not like her that much. Maybe the reason was she was obsessed with Naruto. She saw him as some kind of benevolent being, like she wanted to give him everything, even her body. And she did not like that. She was even checking Naruto out when his shirt was off, and even finding excuses to touch him. Kushina did not like that one bit, and not to mention when she was tired and went to sleep. She had gotten up in the night to use the bathroom and saw the both of them conversing amongst one another. She was afraid to ask what they were talking about, as she didn't want to seem like the pushy, nosy type. However, she saw something in Naruto's eyes as they were talking. She wasn't sure how to define that emotion at all. However, it was like something was missing. She also saw the scar on his chest. She did not ask about it either. Once again, she did not want to seem pushy, however. He did talk to her and reveal several things. For one, she now knew that he was older than he looked. He might seem to be in his early 20s, but from what people are saying, it's almost like he's been here for a very, very long time. As that made her think that she was crazy now. Here she was, crushing over and in love with a very old man. But at the same time, he doesn't even look that old. Perhaps he cannot age. If that was the case, how would anything between them work? If he remained as he was and she got old and wrinkly. Yes, Uzumaki's did live longer than normal humans, but still, that was just a bit too much, she thought. And yet, it did not take away anything from her feelings at all. As she traveled with him, she had to say, it's been amazing. Exploring the world with him. Just being by his side and speaking to him brought her great joy. Not to mention, he started to train her, mostly in meditating and gaining a better control over her chakra. The things that he could do with his chakra was just amazing. However, because of her large chakra reserves, she could not control it that well. Yes, she had abundance of chakra, but she needed better control. That is what he was helping her with. He told her with more control she would be able to do many things. As she understood that lesson, her mother and father told her about that when she was much younger. As she wondered how they were doing. There was also the toads as well. She was able to summon the toads. Granted, she had the chakra to summon a massive one, but she wasn't in need of their services and she did not want to seem like a bother. But the toads, they say that they accepted her. Naruto had spoken to the small toad that arrived. The small toad had seemed rather interested to speak with him. He said his name was Fukazaku, as Kushina did not mean to summon him, because he was an elder, but he had wanted to talk to Naruto. The toad had accepted her as a summoner, and that was great. And it was all because of him. And now they were once again traveling. She thought that he would have been going through some areas to make sure they were not detected, but he wasn't afraid of anyone, as she could see that rather clearly. They walked out in the open, despite what he had done to protect their homes. And despite how dangerous the world is, she felt safe. Yes, she felt safe. So, she said, looking up, where to now? As Naruto was dressed in a black pants, similar black sandals calmly resting on his feet. He was wearing a silver shirt with an obi tied around his waist that went down. It was gold. It was something that he had got from the priestess. Kushina was dressed in a red battle kimono that matched her hair. She was also wearing an obi as well, as the priestess had gave her one. However, the one that the priestess gave Naruto was her own handcrafting, and hers were orange and red as well. She was wearing black shorts with black sandals as well, as she made her way with him. She realized that they were heading towards the region of Land of Water because the air was getting cold. Another area where I believe that my stolen item is located, said Naruto. Oh, she said. About that, she asked. The person that stole it away from you, are they moving it around? I presume if I get too close they will try to move it. However, if I'm close enough I can tell exactly where it is, and they won't be able to move it in time, said Naruto. As you can see, I'm pretty fast. Yeah, no doubt about that, she said. However, this can be over as quickly as you coming across it, or it can be as long as you, well, searching for a long while. Yes, why do you ask, said Naruto. Oh, nothing, I'm just curious, she said. Already homesick, Naruto asked her. Oh no, she said. I'm rather enjoying our time together, and besides, you're teaching me a lot, she said, with a happy smile, making him smile back at her. He's become a lot more open and talkative with her since they become good friends. As she hoped that one day in the future that friend title could be changed into something else. As for Naruto, as he walked, he had almost found the creature. However, he was able to find his seat, and there was no doubt about it, it was his mother Will. All of the darkness inside of her heart, including her power, twisted up in one beam that would stop at nothing to revive her. However, in order to save Kushina and the others, he had let it go to fight Moro when he had fired that beam. However, Naruto knew now that it was out there fully. He'd never seen it before, but now he got eyes on it, and he would find it. Yes, he would find it, and he will destroy it. With that, they made their way towards the other area where Naruto had sensed on the orb from the toads. Meanwhile that was going on, Madara Uchiha sat on the throne that he made for himself, the statue behind him, keeping him alive as it was connected to his body. Time was run out. He needed a successor, someone to pass his goal on to. He could not rely that much on Black Zetsu alone, his will that he had created, or so he thought. However, as he was thinking about that, the creature emerged. Where have you been, Madara said. Sorry for the long absence, Black Zetsu said. However, I got news. A lot. Something that you would like to hear. Quit with the stalling, spill it, said Madara. That man, he's indeed back. Also, there was some commotion in Land of Demon. I'm not sure what it was about, but I was able to get close enough to hear what they were saying. However, he can sense me, so I had to keep my distance away. But I was able to hear the priestess speaking. It turns out that he's looking for something, an item, that is missing, and he's searching all over. Madara's eyes narrowed at that. He glanced behind his shoulder, could it be? What would be the chances, he thought as he looked at the statue behind him. Wait, do you think? Black Zetsu said, playing the fool. If that is the case, I have less time than I thought. Do you know where he's heading now? He's heading towards Kiri region. However, if he's indeed looking for this, I doubt it will be long before he does find it, and find you. And what will he do then? Something I cannot afford to wait for, said Madara. Seems like I'll have to push my plans forward. I want you to go to the Hidden Rain and tell me everything that is going on with Nagato. I want to know how far he's reaching his goal. Everything. And hurry, said Madara, as Black Zetsu nodded. With that, he quickly made his way off, a grin on his face. He knew that Madara would ask this after all. Nagato was the next one in line that would be a big boost to their plan. It's been some time now that Nagato and Yaiko and Konan came together and started the group known as the Akatsuki, gaining followers. They had paid their debts to keep the target off of them, that being Hanzo. However, they were doing good for Land of Rain. Soon enough Hanzo would realize what they were doing. But if they got to work with Hanzo, things would not be in his favor. That is why Zetsu had to make sure that he played this carefully, because he could not in no way possible allow Naruto to find out where the statue is or what is going on. With that, he proceeded to make his way towards the hidden rain. Even if he did not see what he liked, he was going to tell Madara a lie after all. He needed Madara to believe what he was twisting and mingling together. For now though, it seems that Naruto had no idea exactly where the statue was. However, somehow he was tracking Zetsu, the areas that he has been to. Zetsu did not know how, because he had hid himself so well. However, all the areas that Naruto has been to, he has been tracking him. And Zetsu knew that he saw him with his Byakugan. Now he knew exactly what he looked like. And deep down Zetsu was afraid. Afraid that he would never get to bring his mother back. Afraid that all of this was going to be a big waste. Because even now, he had no idea where the tail beast was. Well, he had his suspicions, but he himself could not go there. But someone else could, he thought to himself with a grin, as he made his way. Meanwhile, with Naruto and Kushina, they found themselves at a small village. They were near the Land of Water, extremely close. This was the last village before they took to the seas. However, they were not going there. Instead, they went towards the village. Okay, I know that most places are rather vacant because of the state of the world right now, but something is definitely wrong here, said Kushina, as they stepped into the village. She was right. The place was completely vacant. Like there is no one anywhere. As Naruto glanced over the area before, veins popped up outside of his head as he searched the entire village. They're hiding, said Naruto. The people? Said Kushina. Yes, Naruto said. Why? That I do not know. With that, they proceeded to make their way. As they came in front of a large building, it seemed to be a ceremonial area. A place of worship. After all, different people had their different beliefs. As Naruto held on to the door, it was locked from the inside with chains. However, he tightened his grip as the chains started to melt, as the metal became liquid before returning back to a solid form when it dropped on the ground. As he opened the door. Okay, how did you do that? Kushina said, looking at him. I simply changed the density inside the metal, said Naruto. You know that doesn't explain anything, right? I mean, yes, I understand what you say, but how did you do it? I'll tell you another time. First, let us find out what is going on. As they walked forward and arrived towards a large, open area. There's no one here. She then looked down. Oh, I see, she said. As they moved towards the area before, Naruto reached as he moved the carpet and threw it away. There was a large door that led to a downstairs area. Holding on to the lock, once again Naruto changed the density, allowing it to solidify into a shape of water like before returning back to normal as he opened it. The moment he did that, Naruto reached out and caught the spear that threatened to stab him right in the face. As he pulled it away, upon doing that the person dropped and ran inside, fear for their life. Stay here, said Naruto. What's wrong, Kushina said. Just stay, said Naruto. As he climbed down, the moment he did that, weapons were thrown towards him from all areas. Kunai's swords, different kind of weapons all launched towards him. However, he held his hand out as all of them stopped. Controlling the metal, he then lowered his hand as they dropped to the ground. That is when he saw them. The place was large. It was like a massive shrine. Underneath the ground, there was a man that stepped forward out of the crowd. As he told the people to run. Wait, I'm not here to hurt you, said Naruto. We don't believe you, the man said. He seemed to be in his early 40s. He had silver hair. His eyes seemed tired, like he hadn't slept in days. He was trembling, afraid. He had a long spear in his hand, the tip was sharpened. I won't allow you to take any more else. You've taken enough. Just go, he yelled. Naruto appeared in front of the man. As the people behind him screamed, he took the spear away and grabbed the man by his shoulder. However, the man started to calm down as Naruto used his chakra to soothe the man's worries. As he just stood there, the man then slowly started to calm down even more, as his breath became regular. It's alright, said Naruto. I'm not here to hurt any of you. I promise. As the people started to look at him, look, he doesn't have those tattoos. One of them spoke up. Yeah, he's clean. Could this really not be one of them? But it also could be a trick as well. Sir, what is he doing to you? One of them yelled, calling the man that Naruto held on to with respect. Everyone, it's alright. Whoever this man is, he's not with them. The silver hair man said. I can just tell. Kushina, you can come down now, said Naruto. As Kushina climbed down and she saw the people. Whoa, this place was large. She noticed all the canned items, food, that was stored away down here. They were hiding from something. Perhaps someone. The man stepped forward as he looked at Naruto. I apologize for attacking you. At first, I thought you were one of them. One of who? Kushina said. Those monsters. They took them. They took the people. We tried to fight them, but they were just so strong. We had no choice but to hide. They did not know about this location. We thought that we can wait them out before fleeing this entire place. Fleeing our home. But we had no other choice, he said. The man seemed to be terrified and afraid. My people are scared, and we have nowhere else to turn. Alright, calm down, said Naruto, just tell me. Who are these people? Meanwhile, a distance away from this village, there was a large open space. The place was almost a scene out of a nightmare movie. That is exactly what it looked like. There was a shrine with a strange symbol all over it. It was a triangle in a circle. Inside, screaming could be heard. Inside there were several people, man and woman alike, all of them having some form of weapon. However, the disturbing thing was, there was a girl. She seemed to be in her late teens. She was hung up on the podium, her arms and legs bound, as the people around her cheered, delight on their face. Tonight, we allow our Lord to feast on their soul, a man in the front of the people said as the girl tried to get out of her bounds. He had green eyes that were dull, silver hair that were pointed and jagged. His body was clad in a ceremonial robe. However, the hood was not up. His hands had strange markings all over it, like tattoos, like he had painted his body. There was a grin on his face, a sick, sadistic grin. Tonight we begin the night of Joshing Sama, he yelled to the heavens, allowing the people inside to cheer. In the back room, a lot of people were in cages, tied up, strung up, some of them bloody, but they were all alive. Several of them crying, from young to old. They were stuck in cages. Meanwhile, back with Naruto and Kushina. Who is Jashin? Kushina said, as the man had just explained the radical group that had invaded their country. As Naruto was surprised. You know him, Kushina said, seeing the look on Naruto's face. Not personally, but I know this group. I thought I had annihilated them some time ago. I never expected them to come back. Or this soon, said Naruto. You faced his followers before. The man known as Natoro said. He was the leader of these people. This village. They didn't have a ninja country or anything. They had stayed out of most ninja affairs. They were just a small, nice village that didn't want to get involved in most things. Naruto was a leader for some time, protecting his people. Despite not having so much strength, his words always get him through. And also, they believe in the deity Kami. That is why this church where they currently reside was where they pray and give worship. That was until they were attacked. This radical group calling themselves the Jashinists came inside and started to attack. They did not kill. No, they took. They took. And they even took his daughter. He tried to fight. However, he was beaten and knocked out for several days. When he came to, they were down here. The people had ran and find a place in here. This was like a bomb shelter where they could stay away from all the chaos and problems going on outside. There was enough food to feed the entire village. Granted, the village was not that big. However, the group had been scouring through their village, trying to find them. But they had been safe in here so far. But it seemed like they would never be reunited with their loved ones. Children, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, all taken. As the man was broken, he did not possess the strength to fight this group. He would die certainly. And that would leave his people, but his daughter. His loving daughter had been taken away by those scoundrels. As Kushina started to feel sorry for the man and the entire group, she wanted to do something. As she saw the man speaking with his people. Can't we do something about this? To find where this group is and stop them. You faced them before. Are they strong? She asks. Their strength is not the problem. This Jashin, his followers call him a god. I am not entirely sure what he is. Some kind of demon. Wait. Demons are actually real? You told me that that beast that you fought was a side effect of something you stopped in the past. I thought, well, when it comes to things like this Jashin fellow, yes, you can believe demons are real, said Naruto. I've never actually met it, or one of them in person. However, the one I fought back in the past, he had gained immortality. Immortality? So he could not die. Yes, it didn't matter what I did. He just kept on coming back. But you said you stopped it. How did you? It's a rather gruesome tale, said Naruto. I'll give you this short story. I had to split him into pieces and bury him all over the world. Wait, you chopped him up? Exactly. He could no longer pull his body back together or heal from that. I separate him through the elemental nation. There is no way that he could have come back from that. However, I destroyed the rest, the acolytes. They were never immortal, just the leader. However, he was trying to meet them as well. But it seems that their lord required a large, massive sacrifice to do so. I had stopped them from killing over 100 people. So they're trying to do it again, said Kushina. Exactly, said Naruto. Naruto turned towards the man. Do you have any idea where this group is? Well, not the precise location, but they can't be far. They return every now and then to check if we are back or if we're anywhere to be seen. Alright, said Naruto as he turned. Wait, where are you going? If your people and loved ones are still alive, I'll bring them back to you. Wait, you can't, the man said. This group, they fight like madmen. They will kill you. I am too weak to save my own family and my friends. I don't want your death on my conscience because of that. Oh, trust me, old man, said Kushina. You have nothing to worry about. If your people are alive, we'll get them back. And that's a promise. The people were stunned by her words. Let's go, said Naruto. Lock this place back up, said Naruto to the leader. The man just nodded. With that, they made their way. Once they were back on the surface, so where do we start, said Kushina. "Give me a moment," said Naruto as he sat down. Upon sitting down, Naruto held his hand out. He then locked them together and closed his eyes. Kushina felt something strange, unsure what this was. Was he using some sort of sensory ability? As Naruto got up all of a sudden, no wonder this era is lacking width. Nature engine, Naruto thought to himself, understanding why this was one of the big points on the crystal ball. This place is corrupt. That energy from that so-called demon that Naruto did not even know what it was, had completely drained away the natural energy from this area. As he could barely sense it, so he simply tried where the less of it was, and he knew the location. With that, they start to move. It did not take them too long to come across a place that was distorted and old. As Naruto noticed a blood stain, his Byakugan flared to life. As Naruto noticed the people, they were inside a hall, sitting down in front of the so-called leader. Naruto noticed a girl tied up. Scanning through the building, he noticed the other people. "Kushina, they're alive," said Naruto. She breathed a sigh of relief hearing that. "I want you to go and get them out of the cages. They're to the left down the stairs. I'll go handle the rest." "Alright," she said. As with that, they split apart. There was no guards, no one blocking their path. As Naruto stepped into the hall, pushing open the doors, all of them turned towards him. "The leader, step forward." "And who might you be?" he said. A silver pointy hair, bouncing as he stepped towards Naruto. In his hand was a weapon, a three-blade scythe. "I presume that you're the leader," said Naruto. "The leader? No. We are all followers of Jashin-sama. However, if you like to put it that way, Jashin-sama has given me the command to lead his people to his doorstep, where he can bless them with his everlasting gift. And I will bring them there. Tell me, young one, are you perhaps a new follower of Jashin-sama? Would you like to pledge your loyalty to our Lord? If doing so, tonight will be a rather special night for you." Naruto disappeared. As he appeared in front of the man, his feet was already raised as he slammed it against the man's temple. The blood force caved in the guy's skull as his body was sent sailing, breaking through the back wall. As Naruto stood there, his body shimmered as a clone came into existence, a copy of him. It moved towards the girl as it grabbed the chain and ripped it apart. Picking the girl up in its arms, it leaped off, moving through the hole. All of them went crazy, the acolytes, brimming with rage at what he just did. "Let's kill him!" They all jumped at Naruto holding their weapons. Naruto leaped up in the sky before he held his hand forward. "Universal pull," he said. All of them were yanked by a violent force. Their bodies slammed against each other, bones breaking, necks snapping. Their bodies were crushing against one another. "Heavenly palm," said Naruto, as he dropped his hand, the silhouette of chakra emerging. Kushina felt the entire place shook violently. As she balanced herself, "It's gonna be okay," she said, as she used her chain to break through the lock, freeing the people. "Alright everyone, this way, this way." As they start to run, the ones that could not, "Help the injured," she said, as the people helped the others up. Kushina turned her gaze towards where the shaking was coming from. She had absolute faith in Naruto Sensei. She would not fear the outcome of this battle. As she reached in and picked up a small child whose legs was injured. "It's gonna be alright," as the child was crying. "Come on everyone, this way," she said, as they started to funnel out. Meanwhile, as Naruto looked down, the entire floor had caved in. What remained was nothing but blood and smudge on the ground. Naruto had squashed them all. Rage in his eyes. These people disgusted him. They deserve the most violent death possible. "What have you done?" Naruto turned his gaze as he saw the man from before stepping in. How dare you? Do you know how much planning and work I have put into this? And yet, you killed them all. How dare you, he said. Naruto noticed that his head was completely fine. I see. So you have gained this so-called Jashin, immortality. You've made a big mistake. Lord Jashin will punish you for that. And I will be his tool to do so, he said, as he rushed towards Naruto with his sight. However, Naruto stopped him by placing a hand on his chest. The man was taken aback as his legs stopped, as Naruto had reached him before he could reach him. That is when Naruto sunk his palm into the man's chest. His eyes exploded out of their socket by the force. Naruto was not playing around. Blood exploded out of his mouth as Naruto moved. His chest caved in. His heart exploded. His body bounced across the ground and slammed into the wall. However, Naruto knew that he would heal. After all, he had done much worse than the first Jashin member that he came across. Naruto stepped forward until he felt something. Slowly but surely, the place started to become cold. Even he started to shiver a bit. The place became dark. Everything started to be illuminated in darkness. The man on the ground started to laugh. However, his laughter was strange, dark. He opened his mouth as black smoke exploded out of it. As Naruto was swallowed by it, the entire place was. Kushina had just funneled out the last people that were inside when she and everyone was blown back. They crashed on the ground. When Kushina looked up, she saw black smoke covering the entire area. What the hell? As dark laughter could be heard from inside. She then saw Naruto with a girl in his arms. However, Naruto's body started to shimmer before it vanished as the girl fell to the ground. What's going on? Kushina thought, fear in her eyes. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see next part, and do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.